You have to remember not to attach yourself to the outcome, to your five senses. Only attach yourself to the input of work that you are putting in right here, right now. See, when you attach yourself to the outcome, when you're attaching yourself to your five senses, what it is that you see, hear, smell, touch, taste. If you're attaching yourself to your five senses, if you're attaching yourself to the outcome, right, and you're expecting stuff to go a certain way, you have expectations, and you're attached. You don't just have expectations. You're attached to the expectations. You're like, oh, hey, it's gotta be like this. It's gotta be like that. Acting like you know everything. That's basically what it gets down to. That gets down to you knowing everything. See, when you say, even when you're not saying it with words, right? You're not sitting there and going, hey, I know everything, but your actions are saying that. But the way you're thinking are saying that, right? And the way you're feeling, your energy, that's saying that you think you know everything. So the way you need to go about your day is you have to completely remove and detach yourself from the five senses. Remove yourself from the five senses, at least the expectations of how it should be. Remove yourself from that. You should actually enjoy and be excited of how it is unfolding, because that's where connection with God comes in, right? When you have that strong, deep connection with God, you understand through and through that God is doing this exactly for you, right? This is your moment to show up as that person that you need to become, right? You ask God for something, right? Now that God's gonna give you situations, circumstance, and events for you to show up as that person. And that's what you need to do. Otherwise, those scenarios, those situations, events, and circumstances, they're gonna keep showing up. They're gonna keep showing up until you learn that lesson, right? That lesson of what it is that you need to do in that moment. And always, if you hear a voice that's impatient, that's either in the future or the past, or it's like in a hurry, in a doubt, in a worry, it's not God. God's voice is going to be in the present, in the moment, in present, right? And God's voice is going to be safe. It's going to be secure. It's going to be content. It's going to be confident. And it's going to be with love-based, right? It's not going to be fear-based, right? It's not going to be scarcity-based. It's going to be abundance-based, love-based, right? And that's what you need to do. You need to develop that connection with God. And how do you develop that connection with God? Is by practicing and exercising, walking that path that God has ordained for you. Why? Because the longer you wait to walk that path that God has ordained for you, the greater the price is going to be. And these certain lessons that you need to learn, they're going to keep reappearing. These circumstances, events, situations, scenarios, they're going to keep reappearing until you learn that lesson, right? And you might think there is better than here, right? Wherever it is, maybe it's a different place, different party, this or that, whatever it is, you might think there is better than here. It's never the case. Why? Because it's you that needs to learn that lesson. It's not the other way around. And so that's what you need to do. And you need to, the way you do that is by tapping in. See, the root, the base of our fundamental basic steps of our true path, living that true path, is our wake up time, right? You don't have to wake up so early. We wake up at 2:45, 3 a.m. You don't have to wake up this early, right? Some people wake up at 4, some people wake up at 5, some people wake up at 6. Either way, even those times are still early for a majority of the world, right? But that's what it is. Every single day, with no backsteps, with no days off, you need to wake up early. Why? Because you need to get your mind and body in order and aligned, and your energy aligned with that true path that God has ordained for you. That's why you wake up early. You wake up early to correct your energy. You wake up early to show yourself love. You wake up early to show yourself respect. You wake up early to show yourself validation. Give yourself that validation. And to correct your energy, to correct your thoughts, the way you're thinking. See, when we wake up, like, we're not waking up and going, we're waking up. And different days, every single day, you're a different person. Every day, you're a single person. Every moment, you're a different person. And some days, you might wake up and feel like right away might feel great, right? But the thing is, when you're feeling already, when you're waking up and you're already feeling great, I don't want to get too deep into that, because that's good. You would want that. But what I was gonna say is that you don't want to get stuck in a loop. See, the way you'll know that you're growing is when you understand that in life, the life is rich because the devil is in it. And you need to wake up and you need to conquer that. You need to conquer that. And if you already wake up and you feel great, what it is, chances are that throughout your day, it might be a higher chance of you having to deal with that later. That's why majority of the time when I wake up, I'm like on the lower frequencies, right? It's because when we sleep, our mind is the only organ. Our brain is the only organ that is rewiring itself, readjusting itself based on the events that it went throughout the day. And at nights it does that. When you go to sleep, your brain is rewiring itself because of the events that you went through, right? And so when you wake up, at least some days, majority of the days for me, when I wake up, I'm vibrating at a lower frequency. The way I can tell that is because it's gonna be fear, doubt, worry, anger, and just low vibrating frequencies. And you know what? That's why I said life is much richer with the devil in it, because when I show God my trust and I show God my faith by still getting up so fucking early, by still putting in that work in the morning, right? By still going over and reflecting about yesterday, by still getting down doing burpees, by still going to the gym, by correcting my thoughts and energy, regardless of how I feel, right? That's how I show God trust and faith that, hey, God, you're doing this for me. Because once I overcome those negative thoughts, negative energy, and I align myself with the correct thoughts, energy, and actions, I have won that day. I have corrected my alignment for that day, and I have already collected a win, a dub for that day. So basically now I'm gonna be able to go and give other people that energy that they need, right? How? By first giving it to myself. How do I give it to myself? By overcoming these negative thoughts, this negative energy, and this negative action. So that's why it's so important to have that connection with God, because in those moments, right, when your connection with God is so strong, you understand, even though you have doubt, fear, and worry, you understand that God is doing that for you, right? Giving you the opportunity to show up as that man. And so what it means to show up as that man is you show up and you still get the work done. And as you're getting the work done, you're overtaking your thoughts. You're overtaking your mind with the way you need to think. And that's in a grateful way. Hey, thank you, God. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for a brand new day. I accept the way the reality is currently right now. I forgive myself, I forgive everybody, I forgive everything, and I love myself, I love everybody, and I love everything. And now when you have that brand new day with the correct alignment with your thoughts, energy, and action, oh man, you're able to really have that conscious congruency. You know, when you're consciously congruent, what that means is when God is talking to you, right? The true authentic voice of God is your conscious. When God is talking to you, and you'll know when it's God, like I mentioned earlier, the voice is going to be safe, and it's going to be present in the moment. It's not going to talk about past. It's not going to talk about future. It's going to talk about in the moment right now, what you need to do or how you need to feel, right? And God is going to talk to you, and it's going to sound safe. It's going to sound content. It's going to sound secure. It's going to sound confident, right? And then you don't negotiate with that voice. You just jump straight out of the aircraft and you build your parachute on the way down, right? You got to have that sense of urgency, because if you don't build that parachute in time, then you're gonna hit the floor. You're gonna hit the floor and not gonna be able to make it out. That's why you gotta have this sense of urgency to build that parachute on the way down, but you also can't freak out, because if you freak out, that's gonna mess you up and you're not gonna be able to build a parachute on your way down in time. But how you know you will be able to build that is you have to trust God, and you have to have faith in God that it's going to be built. That's where you're building that. That's where you're overcoming those negative thoughts. It's just whatever the man thinks, right? That's what he becomes. And if you're thinking the right things as you're falling down, as you're building the parachute, if you're thinking the right things, you're not even gonna have a fear or doubt or worry creeping in at all. It's all going to be faith and trust, and you're only gonna be thinking about what it is that you want. And what you want is you want to land safely. So when you're thinking about landing safely, right, and you have trust and faith in God, you're gonna be able to build that parachute on the way down, and you're gonna be able to land safely. But if you're freaking out, doubting and worrying, of course, that's not like, you're not gonna be able to build that parachute on the way down in time, and you're gonna crash. And same thing with, if you don't have that sense of urgency that like you need to build a parachute, then it's like a yogi. You're just sitting there going and thinking everything is gonna come to you. No, it's like the balance is like 90 to 10%. I don't know the exact percentage of the balance, but the majority of it, like 99% of it, is the way you're thinking. And that 1%, which is critical, that 1% is critical, but it's that action. You gotta have that sense of urgency, right? But that 1% is making sure you get the work done. So because when your attitude is right, when your thinking is right, you're going to do the right thing. If you're not thinking the right thing, you're not going to do the right thing. So that's why you need to wake up early and do that. So awesome, guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you. We woke up so early today on this Thursday, beautiful Thursday, right? We sat down with the divines and we feasted. We made sure we conducted the work below. And after conducting the work below, after self-actualizing, after self-realizing, we are self-transcending, right? I love you guys. I appreciate you. Let's go!